Kalalwa Wadlaya Basham Yoshai Basham Kakulash. I will honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule and teach well. Peace and salutations to the brothers on the four corners of this earth, pushing this within truth, also in sincerity. But I'm going to talk you out another article, video on an article, right? So it says the NIH just secretly created 200 new gain of function C viruses, media blackout, right? So I think we should Google what gain of function means to the not so savvy. You're not so savvy. Let me see what's going on here in this. Let's see. Um, this one here. Gain of function. Alright, let's bear with me a little bit tight. The phone not cooperating. Gain of function. You see what that is? A terminology is meant to portray gain of function research is medical research that genetically alters an organism in a way that may enhance the biological functions of gene products. This may include an altered pathogenesis, yeah, transmissibility, or host range, i.e., the types of hosts that a microorganism. Okay, so meaning this make whoever it is the dealing with more, able to infect hosts that they wouldn't have been able to infect before, basically. Right, so yeah, we could carry on now. It's the NIH has secretly engineered over 200 new gain-of-function C viruses designed for heightened transmissibility. See, gain-of-function, and make it enhanced, in other words, in a clandestine project at Washington University School of Medicine, as exposed in a January 15, 2025 Science Advances study funded by multiple NIH grants. This alarming research, conducted amid a media blackout, raises fears of another lab-leaked pandemic, with critics decrying the reckless creation of this synthetic SARS-CoV-2 variants. Detailed in a peer-reviewed study, the experiments used advanced genetic techniques to modify the viruses, intensifying concerns as U.S. intelligence and lawmakers increasingly point to a lab-leak origin for C19. The high-risk pathogen research, conducted under the NIH's oversight, has sparked outrage, with warnings that such work could unleash catastrophic consequences, prompting urgent calls for transparency and stricter controls to prevent accidental global health crisis. Right now, we know America thrive on crisis. They need crisis to function well. Let me say America in specific. Let me say the elites, They thrive on crisis, you know what I mean? Cause and effect, or that KO, right? So naturalnews.com reports the study confirms researchers used a reverse genetic system to construct the viruses, assembling genetic material not found in nature. Each pathogen was tagged with a unique 6-nucleotide barcode. Wow. 6, eh? Anyhow, allowing scientists to track individual strains during animal experiments. According to the paper, the team pulled 200, well, more than, because like greater than, right? More than 200 barcoded SARS-CoV-2 viruses based on an equal infectious viral titers. Okay. It says, notably, these synthetic constructs were created under NIH-funded Biosafety Level 3 containment protocols, a mid-tier safeguard for dangerous pathogens. The authors emphasize that none of the lab-made viruses mirror circulating SARS-CoV-2 lineages, raising ethical concerns about the justification for their creation. Yeah, because I mean, it don't make no fucking sense. Why are you interfering with something so deadly for? But hey, we know that he is a wicked man. You understand? We know they're trying to stay one step ahead. We know that they know the time is short, that is scriptural, right? We know that hey, they're trying to prolong their kingdom and they will do so any means necessary, regardless of how much of their own they kill. They do not care as long as their agenda is, you know what I mean, brought to completion. All 200 lab-made viruses were deliberately modified to include the D614G spike mutation, a change linked to increased viral transmissibility in humans. The study notes, we also introduced a D614G mutation in the spike gene of a SARS-CoV-2. Virological research has long classified D614G as a gain-of-function trait, meaning it enhances viral replication and infectivity. Prior studies found this mutation boosts replication in human lung cells and airway tissues, making viruses more efficient at infecting hosts. Wow, that is the same thing, read. What gain of function is that what it is? Critics argue that engineering pathogens with such traits, especially after the pandemic, risk repeating past mistakes. Obviously, fucking obviously, like, you understand? And then they go say something leak again, and we have to do this and this and thing, and somehow they're going to tie in the motivated by it. At this point, nothing really surprised me, huh? Personally. Nothing. You know? From Gates buying up all the land to the water wells underneath it and so on and so forth and thing. And hey, we know that ain't for nothing good. That ain't for nothing to help mankind. We sure about that. Right? When I say we, I mean the men of the Lord. Right? The NIH's continued funding of synthetic virus research puts the agency at odds with growing scrutiny over gain-of-function studies. The White House, Congress, and intelligence agencies now concede C19 likely stemmed from a lab incident involving similar work. Yet taxpayer dollars still flow into projects creating novel pathogens. Proponents argue these experiments help understand transmission, but skeptics question the necessity. We're building from scratch what nature didn't, then hoping containment holds, said one virologist. Exactly. Exactly. You understand? We was. Alright. Said one virologist. So familiar with the study, who requested anonymity due to the sensitivity of the topic. Yeah, because they might fucking assassinate any man or woman, whoever the ass it is. As the world recovers from C19's devastation, the NIH's latest project underscores a recurring dilemma, balancing scientific curiosity against existential risks. With over 200 enhanced viruses now confined to our lab, but backed by federal funds, the line between preparedness and peril remains dangerously thin. Whether such research advances public health or invites catastrophe may only be clear in hindsight. Yeah, after the fact. That wouldn't be clear after the fact. Right? And this is what you doing. While fucking Jake distracted, Jake finding all sorts of bugged out shit to deal with, believing in idols, worshipping demons, so on and so forth, selling out the back for fake fucking money, all these things for fame. You understand? Trying to acquire the promises of the Lord in this kingdom. Right? This is what he doing behind the scenes. You feel like give a fuck about how much money whoever have? No, we want the world. We don't want no money, we want the world. That is mindset. We want to have the world in the cusp of our hands. Or palm of our hands like that. Right? And this is what they do. This is what they spend their billions and millions on. how to keep the world in the palm of our hands. Right? Oh, let me get a precept here. Right, let's have a couple of precepts. Right, the book of Malachi. You all know where I'm going with this? Whoever know. It's a lucky wrong book. Micah 2 and 1. It says, woe to them that devise iniquity and work evil upon their beds. When the morning is light, they practice it, because it is in the power of their hand. You understand? This is in the power of their hand. They ruling, they in charge of the finances of this kingdom, this world. Right? That is why the leader of America is known as the so-called leader or ruler of the so-called free world. Because wherever he say basically goes. Regardless of how fucking far-fetched or fucking idiotic, for lack of better words, it may seem. You know? It will, wherever he say goes, if he says, hey, Monday is now Friday, the whole world will follow. You know? But they devise iniquity upon their beds. This is what they spend their leisure time doing. Devising iniquity. How to fucking keep this in we control. You understand? And is never end up with something good, or to assist mankind, or to assist humanity or Negroes, or motherfucker, they never end up to nothing good that to assist anybody but themselves. So like, yeah. Right? It's never to help or assist anybody but themselves. Right? Now let me go to the book of Psalms. And we know, hey, the scriptures had to be true. It's like, no, if no, but no, maybe. Every day we see and shit like this happening. Right? Psalm 64 and 6. It says, they search out iniquities, they accomplish a diligent search, both the inward thoughts of every one of them, and the heart is deep. Yeah. They make 200 viruses that worse than the fucking first one. Yeah? 200, not one, not two, 200. Right? And you know what? They have humanity by the balls, so to speak. Right? They have humanity by the balls. They can make humanity do whatever they want, and they just have contingencies upon contingencies upon contingencies. Right? The Deuteronomy 28 and 45. It says, moreover, all these curses shall come upon thee, and shall pursue thee, and overtake thee, till thou be destroyed, because thou hearkenest not unto the voice of Yahweh thy power, to keep his commandments and his statutes, which he commanded thee. You understand? Let me jump down to verse 47. It says, because thou servest not Yahweh thy power with joyfulness and with gladness of heart, for the abundance of all things. Right? He said these curses will overthrow you and overtake you. Because, well, we didn't serve him with joyfulness and gladfulness. You understand? Just roughly paraphrasing, there's a scripture that says, the commandments of the Lord is not grievous. We seem, or we looked upon them as grievous, and we erred in our ways. Right? And now they the bullshit we had to deal with. Right? This is what we had to deal with. And verse 48, it said, therefore shalt thou serve thine enemies, which Yahweh shall send against thee, in hunger and in thirst and in nakedness and in want of all things, and he shall put a yoke of iron upon thy neck until he have destroyed thee. For the basic necessities in life, we have to go for them. No, if no, but no, maybe. Right? So when in Revelation it said The hour temptation shall come upon all the world. You understand? It have no way you could run from it. We are subjected unto him. Because of what? Because according to a certain brother in the camp, should not sin. You understand? You should not sin. That's how we know we messed up. Because whatever they want to give us, if we do want to accept it voluntarily, they're putting it in your bread. They're putting it in your flour. They're putting it in your this. They're putting it in your that. Things that you think, nah, that's good for me. I go buy fast food. I go buy thing in the grocery and make it home. Same thing and rounding up to basically the same fucking ending. Doom. Right? Because why? The Most High send we enemy to rule over us. You understand? Because we erred. And they didn't stop. They didn't stop. They still have us under their thumb. And they intend to keep us like that. Right? They want their kingdom to rule forever and ever. I'm going to close off with this one piece up here. The Revelation 12 and verse 12. Therefore rejoice ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knows. I was saying in the beginning of the video, we know that he know he time short. See how much virus he fucking create? 200. For this survive the first 50. We have 150 a fucking game. Let me see how much all they go survive. Contingency upon plan B, plan C, plan D, plan E. Yeah, so don't feel you go get away. No way, you will get away. And that's why I entitled this video one way or the other. So with that, I hope it was informative, hope it was insightful through the spirit and power of your Bashem Yoshai, Bashem Kakodash. Until next time, Shalom.